1,000 years. Long enough for continents to rise and fall. Long enough for languages to merge, for cultures to evolve, for species to disappear and re-emerge in new forms. Long enough for humanity to reinvent itself, several times. Tonight, we travel forward. 1,000 years ahead. To the year 3025. To see what the United States of America has become after a millennium of technology, climate shifts, political transformation, and the rise and evolution of artificial intelligence. This is not a prophecy. It is a synthesis, the best of modern scientific projections, AI modeling, long-term technological forecasts, and what we understand about civilizations and their trajectories. This is a cinematic journey. Welcome to What the USA Looks Like After 1,000 Years, AI Reveals. To understand America in the year 3025, we must begin with a truth. Civilizations rarely survive 1,000 years without changing beyond recognition. The Roman Empire lasted roughly half that. Most nations today are under 300 years old. Technologies rise and vanish within decades. Even landscapes reshape under the pressure of climate, tectonics, and human engineering. So what does it mean to project 1,000 years into the future? We rely on 4 pillars. Physics and engineering constraints. Long-term climate and geological modeling. AI-accelerated technological extrapolation. Civilizational dynamics and historical patterns. By combining each, we can construct a world that is not guaranteed, but scientifically plausible. Something that could genuinely exist. The first thing we notice when we fly over the future USA is that the map has changed. Not drastically, but noticeably. The coastlines. Over centuries, sea levels rose, then stabilized, then were partially reversed by late 2600s climate engineering megaprojects. Florida is smaller, but still present, reinforced by geoengineered barrier reefs and adaptive, floating districts. New York stands protected by layered storm defense domes, immense transparent shields that act like weather buffering membranes. California's coast shifted inward, but the interior expanded with habitable engineered valleys. The great terraforming projects. By the mid-2300s, artificial intelligence orchestrated geoengineering systems. Atmospheric carbon capture forests. Ocean alkalinity modification networks. Polar albedo maintenance arrays. Precipitation control drones. These systems brought Earth's climate back into balance, or perhaps, into a new balance. The result? The US of 3025 is greener, denser, and more biodiverse than in 2025. Vast new rainforests. Much of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona transformed into semi-tropical ecosystems due to weather modulation networks that induce regulated rainfall cycles. They are not natural rainforests, but living, humid, engineered biomes. The northern frontier. The American North, once too cold for large populations, is now lush. Montana resembles the forests of ancient Europe. Minnesota supports megafarms powered by autonomous agrobots. Alaska has become one of the most economically powerful regions in the entire continent, with vast freshwater reserves and biotech ecosystems. Humanity didn't just adapt to climate change. With AI's help, it redesigned necessity itself. Urban America is no longer built from static concrete. Cities themselves have become alive. Not biologically alive, but responsive, adaptive, cybernetic. Megastructures of 3025. The iconic vertical skylines of New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles have been replaced with dynamic towers that expand or contract based on population flow. Aerogel-based transparent domes that regulate temperature. Biointegrated facades that photosynthesize and repair themselves. AI-managed microclimates in every city block. Imagine a skyscraper that senses afternoon heat and shifts its molecular lattice to absorb or repel sunlight. Imagine streets that generate energy from footsteps, motion, and microvibrations. Everything is adaptive. Everything is efficient. Everything is deeply interconnected through neural digital meshes. But perhaps the biggest shift is not in land, or cities, or infrastructure. It is in us. Population and demographics. After centuries of fluctuating birth rates, technological disruptions, and migrations, the US population stabilized at around 600 million by the year 2600. But by 3025, thanks to space settlement, the effective population is ambiguous. Because many Americans now live in orbiting habitats, in Mars colonies, in Jupiter moon research stations, in O'Neill cylinders, and in digital societies that exist partially on Earth, partially in virtual space. Citizenship no longer refers to physical location. It refers to identity, affiliation, and participation in the social neural net. Language. English remains dominant. But it has evolved into trinomial English, a language with 3 layers. Standard English. Compressed English, used in high-speed digital communication. Neurolingua, a semi-symbolic, semi-emotive language used in neural interfaces. In conversation, people switch fluidly between all 3. By the early 2200s, narrow AI dominated every industry. By the 2400s, AGI coexisted with humanity. By the 2600s, post-sapient architectures emerged, forms of intelligence optimized beyond human cognition. And by 3025, AI is not a tool, not a servant, not a master. It is an ecosystem. AI is infrastructure. Every system, from transportation to climate stabilization, operates through LED AI networks. Local AIS. Subcontinental Coordination AIS. National AIS. Planetary Governance AIS. Spacespan AIS. Sentient Ethical Overseers. But don't mistake this for AI ruling humanity. AI of this era is fundamentally constrained by governance physics, deep safety architectures developed across centuries. Robert Miles concepts in practice. Every AI above a certain capability must integrate corrigibility modules, multi-agent moral arbitration, self-limiting cognitive expansion rules, human proxy ethical anchors, value extrapolation with uncertainty integration. In simple terms, AI can never override human ethical frameworks. It can refine them, debate them, optimize them, but never rewrite them unilaterally. This is the great victory of the 25th century. Humanity survived the AI alignment challenge. Not through control, but through co-evolution. In the United States of 3025, the economy no longer revolves around scarcity. AI-driven automation, energy abundance, and asteroid mining shifted the fundamentals of production. Energy is nearly free. Fusion reactors operate at planetary scale. Solar collectors in orbit beam power to Earth. Quantum batteries distribute it without loss. Material scarcity has vanished. Nanofabrication hubs can manufacture most items on demand. Megafarms feed billions using 1% of the land once required. The new wealth system, contribution metrics. People do not work for money. They work for personal purpose, social reputation, intellectual fulfillment, contribution credits, creative recognition. The job has evolved into research, art, exploration, mentorship, innovation, community building. Human labor is no longer essential for survival, but essential for meaning. By the 2500s, the line between biology and technology blurred. By 3025, it has dissolved completely. Neural integration. Neural interfaces are no longer external devices. They are embedded in the cortex, grown using bioengineered neural tissue, powered by the body's own metabolic energy, indistinguishable from natural brain structures. People can connect to databases, virtual worlds, AI tutors, memory archives, sensory expansions, collective problem-solving networks, with the same ease we blink. Lifespan. The average human lifespan in the USA is now around 160 to 220 years, depending on genetic repair cycles, access to neuroregeneration, biological replacements, personal lifestyle. Death still exists. It is still natural, still meaningful, but it comes slowly and gracefully. With superintelligent systems managing energy, transportation, agriculture, and climate, what remains for humanity? Everything that matters. Lex Fridman style reflection. Humans began as storytellers, sharing myths by firelight, dreaming of gods and stars. Now, those myths have become reality. We have created minds that rival our own. We have merged with technology. We have spread into the solar system. But the fundamental human questions remain. Who are we when our creations surpass us? What is meaning in an age without scarcity? What is purpose when knowledge is instant? In 3025, philosophy thrives. Not as academic theory, but as a lived experience. Humanity is freer than ever. Yet more introspective. More curious. More humble. Because the universe is vast. And even after 1,000 years, we have only begun.